Hello and welcome. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, a car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch Firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and we are here for the second episode of Honesty Lost with Mama Higgins herself, Erica Higgins, career-oriented woman, mother extraordinaire, proud parent of a son who will be attending Union College in the fall to play football. Erica, great to see you.
Hello, my love. How are you?
I am spectacular, and your first episode set a record for viewership
I
for
like it.
my podcast. Yeah, for the first ever episode of any show, you had the highest viewership. So
Right.
you clearly touched a nerve and you touched something people want to know more about and people want to not discuss, but it is honesty lost. And it affects so many aspects of our life, but really parenting. And parenting today, as you have said, can be challenging. And I find that you seem somewhat insecure about parenting because it is different than when we grew up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of changes, and you mentioned social media, but I think that you have done a phenomenal job with your children, and you mentioned also that it has not been easy, but I get just a touch of insecurity from you. And is that something that you often feel?
I think no matter what, Steve, like I said in our last episode, there's no manual for parenting. There's no book that when you give birth to a baby that they hand to you and say, this is how you're going to do it for the next 18 years. Like, we don't get that manual. And when...
Oh, we don't.
Right? We don't.
Yeah, well,
But
okay.
I question, not all the time, most of the time I'm pretty confident that what I'm doing is for the right reasons. But there are times where I question, am I too strict? Right? Am I doing things too old school? I was raised old school. I was raised that if you get a punishment, you follow through on the punishment. I nannied that way. So I nannied a family of 6. I nannied a family of 4. I drove the Suburban around. I took them to practice. I potty trained them. I did all of those things. And if they misbehaved and I needed to have a consequence, I followed through. So if I said we were going to get ice cream after the playground and they misbehaved, I didn't just go ahead and give them ice cream after I told them I was going to take it away. So I think my boys know that about me and my parenting style. And I was talking to Owen, it's probably maybe a year and a half ago. And I had said something to somebody in jest. And I was like, oh, if you ask my boys who they're more afraid of, they will tell you it's me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way with my mother. But I would say that you are very strong-willed, confident, and you know what's right, and you have instilled in your children to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And if anything, parents today, I think, try to be their kids' friend more than they do an adult, a role model, somebody to look up to, being someone that sets the rules and make sure that they follow them. I don't think at all that you're too strict. I think that what you're doing is clearly what's missing in today's environment, especially like you said with schools. You said talking about teachers not having any power. The parents are the ones that have all the power. And the parents, God help you if you tell them their child is wrong about something, or they got a poor grade on a test. You're going to have hell to pay. So I don't think at all that you're too strict. I think you do things the right way, and I think you do things old school. But wouldn't you agree that that's somewhat missing in society today?
I absolutely 100% do. Now, granted, when I say old school, I'm not beating my kids with a wooden spoon. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that, because I will say I might have gotten the wooden spoon. Sorry, Dad, God rest your soul. But, once in my life was enough, and I didn't forget it. But when I say old school, I mean kids need accountability. And the one thing that I will say has been first and foremost is that they need to be accountable for themselves and their actions. I don't care if you're 2 years old, it's hard to understand at 2, but hitting is wrong at 2. You're learning that hitting is not okay. Biting is not okay. So you're instilling simple things that are right versus wrong from a very young age and holding the kid accountable to those actions. Now, my 17-and-a-half-year-old, his actions, whether it is he's at a party and he's drinking, or he is walking down the side of the street and, hitchhiking, right? They both have consequences. And he's accountable to both of them, right? If somebody wants to abduct my kid because he's hitchhiking, have at it. You can have the bills that go along with it. But I laugh. But at the same time they know that there are consequences for their actions. And I think a lot of parents now don't hold their kids accountable to their actions. It's always someone else's fault. It's the blame game. I mean, we see it at the highest levels now when it comes to, politicians. Now, they've always blamed other people, but now it's much more evident, and it's everybody else's fault. It's not my fault. I'm perfect. I'm, so-and-so politician. Nobody's being held accountable. Poor police officers are trying to, do the right thing and, arrest people. And then the government and the judiciary says, you know what, just slap their hand and let them go. And they just do that revolving door of like, you know, we had a huge
reform. Yep.
train of break-ins in our neighborhood the other day in cars, and people get it on their Ring cameras and they're like, call the cops. And the cops, people are saying in the chats, cops can't do anything. They're not going to do anything because, again, they can be held accountable.
They're fed up too.
Yep, absolutely. So I believe in accountability for myself. Now, one of the things that my husband and I have always not argued about, but seen not eye to eye on is I have such high expectations for the human population because I hold myself to those expectations.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It's not right. It's not attainable. But because I hold myself to those expectations, I expect everybody to fit that mold, which is unrealistic. But I still have expectations for you as a human. Are you kind?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you respectful? Are you doing the right thing? Are you being truthful? Even if there's a consequence. So I think that's something that is rare now. I'm finding it hard to parent. I do have a very good group of friends that parent similarly. That is very refreshing, but it's a very small group of people. Because other people, they want to be their kid's friend. I have a saying, and my boys know, I always will love them. I will not always like them.
Of course.
And I say that a lot. I don't like you today. And they'll be like, yeah, but you love me. Yes, I do. I will always love you, but I do not like you. I say it to Pete too. I'm like, I really don't like you today. And he's like, well, I don't like you either. So, and then it makes us laugh. But at the same time, I want you to know you're not my friend. I'm your mom. There'll be a time in our life where we can go out and have a glass of wine together and, be more friends than we are now. And I look forward to that. I look forward to that time, but it's not now.
But I would say there is a major disconnect with today's generation, kids, teenagers coming up. There is such a lack of kindness. There's a lack of politeness. There's total disrespect for whoever they're speaking with. And it just seems to go unchecked and uncorrected. And if you don't make that correction, like you said, 2 years old, someone bites, you're not supposed to bite. To make that correction early and often, and that is how you stop and redirect the behavior. And from what I'm seeing, there's been a total lack of that going on, really, no matter where you are in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kids.
I think parenting overall in general is much harder. Well, I know it's much harder than it was when our parents parented and when their parents parented. It's progressively gotten harder. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday, one of the Mel Robbins podcasts, and one of the people that she was interviewing, he's a divorce attorney. And he was saying that, divorce in the 1950s and divorce in 2026 are totally two different things, because the things that were impacting divorce in 1950 was, you met the neighbor down the street who was cute and there was infidelity. Now you have social media that is he said it's 10,000 times more impactful in marriages and, what's going on than it was in 1950. Well, it's the same thing with parenting, right? Parenting in 1950, there might have been 3 channels on the TV that were black and white. You turned on the radio, you listened to NPR at night, and you play outside. That was it. Now you've got travel sports teams, you've got travel symphonies that kids are playing the cello and violin and traveling all over the world. You've got all these social media things. You have all the pressures of school and are you doing this on the ACT? And how are you doing on the SAT? And now with Owen being a senior, they do these 2026 Amity grad announcements. And everybody's waiting with bated breath. Like, where are you going to college? And they post where they're going to college.
Yeah.
We talked about it when we went to college, like where we were going, but it wasn't like a thing. Like, it's almost like a popularity contest of like, oh, well, my kid's going here and my kid is going here. And there's all these parent forums, and it's so intense now on so many different levels that parenting is a full-time job. Whereas before, I'm sorry, my 8-year-old is yelling. Whereas before, we were like feral almost. We kind of just parented ourselves, and they gave us guardrails as to like, okay, that's not a good decision, but you got to figure it out. Now I can tell where Owen is on my phone.
Yep.
I can look at Life 360 and know where he is.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to always do that? No, because my parents had no flipping clue where I was at any given moment on any given day, and they had to take my word for it. So the accountability, we were forced to be accountable because nobody was checking our accountability. Whereas now I can check. Owen tells me he's going down to, kick at the Y. First of all, he can't right now, but when he can, I'm taking his word for it. If he's gone longer than I would typically think, well, I check and see. Yeah, he's probably at Taco Bell or whatever. And he's not checking in every single time he moves, but he's accountable. But now I can hold him accountable because I have a tool that shows me where he is.
Right.
So we're taking a lot of that independence away.
You touched on a couple things that are very important. The proliferation of so-called travel teams, and so much that's going into that. It's not just playing 2 or 3 sports. You're playing that sport, and then you're on that travel team, and that costs money. And then you're going away every other weekend for tournaments and events. And like you said, even playing instruments, you're going away for concerts and symphonies and doing different things. And you have to do it because Michael over here is doing it, or BJ's doing it over here. So if you're not doing it, you're not keeping up with the Joneses, and they look at you funny. Well, why isn't your kid doing travel this? Why isn't he part of this? And it adds up. And I think, like you touched on before, the mental health issues that it can cause with the kids, because they don't have as much fun. And then the parents who are responsible for not only working a job, and nowadays, as we know, it's 2 parents that work. Parents both work. They have to cart around their kids. They have to take them to tournaments. And that's just the norm that it's become. And it's gotten so out of control, and it doesn't seem like anyone is coming to the rescue to stand up and say, hey, like, this is nuts. We don't need to do all this. And we were talking about it. I mean, Dave and I were talking about it with college football. College football had a sit down with the illustrious President Trump last week to try to save college sports, because college sports is, there's several athletic directors. One of them was from Louisville, who says, listen, the math isn't adding up. We can't afford to pay the players, what they're being paid. We're not bringing in the revenue. Rutgers is $78 million in debt, and they are raising student fees to cover it, which is causing a lot of backlash. Ohio State, who is traditionally amazing, they are in debt. And it's coming down to the system in college sports, between the transfer portal, between paying players, and it goes back to high school. And now
high school kids have to do the extra work. They have to be on that travel team. They have to do more because less and less freshmen are getting opportunities to play. And that's why overall, I think there is so much more on these kids as far as having mental health issues.
So we have a situation going on right now in our home where Jack, my middle son, he's a goalie. He's a soccer goalie and a swimmer. We all know how you feel about swimming, Steve. So the next time I see you, hopefully you'll get in your Speedo and you can race Jack in the pool. But no, in all seriousness, he has played travel soccer and it's expensive. And he's been on this team. He's been the goalie. He's been the goalie. So we had a call, actually, this goes back to last spring, where we are all about communication, right? If our kids are not going to be there, our kids need to let you know. If it's something last minute, then we will communicate for our children. If they're unable to, we want them to be independent and let them know. Jack being a swimmer, it's a winter sport, but this soccer team is year round. So his coach is new. Jack swims high school swimming. He will be in the pool 7 days a week. He will not be able to come to soccer for 2 months. They were like, okay, great. No problem. Thanks for communicating. They knew this last spring because he's not on the MLS team, the top team, but he's not on the bottom. He's like right in the middle. And they have 4 goalies between 4 teams now, whereas before they only had 3 teams, but they've changed things up. But they never communicated that to anybody. So we're on a Zoom call 2 weeks ago, and this other goalie's dad pipes in and asks a question. I'm like, there's another goalie? So I ask, I'm like, listen, we have discussed this with the owner. Everybody knew that Jack wasn't going to be able to play since December. He goes, well, Jack's going to have to earn his spot back.
The father said that, or the coach?
No, the coach. Jack's gonna have to earn his spot back. So I was like, nobody called us, nobody discussed with us, nobody said that Jack was gonna have to earn anything. Everybody knew.
Blindsided you with that.
We have emails, we were very, very, very clear. So even asking, is this going to be a problem? Nope, not gonna be a problem. It has pushed Pete so far that now he's demanding our money back. Jack is relieved because he's devastated, but he's relieved because the pressure's off of him. He can focus on high school soccer, just regular high school soccer and goalie training and swim. The look on his face of devastation, though, when the pressure of him having to compete back for his spot with a travel team, it was the end of the world. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you're 14 years old. This is not the end of the world. But there are parents that would say, no, you're going to go and you're going to compete and you're going to get that spot and you're going to do it. And I don't care what it takes for you to do it. And they're going to hold those kids accountable to things that are unattainable, or they're going to put so much pressure on their kid where their mental health is going to be, oh God, I got to keep my grades up. I've got to get this position back with my travel team again. I've got to make sure that I'm getting ready for high school soccer. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to be a good person. And they're literally ready to combust.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked with Julius Williams, who trains football players down in Georgia, and he has the same situation with a lot of his kids. If they want to play other sports with his organization, he'll take extra time out and work with them later at night. And you have kids in Georgia who are literally doing 2 sports. They're doing their school sport, and then afterwards they're going to do an hour of work with him. That's how intense and how crazy it is getting. Yeah. And for your son, how many tournaments or games would he have missed during this period?
Did he miss? Did you say?
Would he have missed? Yes.
Oh, there nothing. It was just practice.
So they hadn't even started playing. This is just practice leading up.
It was just winter practices 2 to 3 times a week
for a spring. Okay, for a spring sport.
Yeah, for a spring sport. So once swimming was over, which is next weekend, he'd be back at practice 3 days a week.
So he really that's absurd. So do you know for sure, did the coach go out and recruit another goalie?
I mean, they clearly made a decision to add another goalie. They made that decision never having a conversation, took our $3,000 and said, Jack's got to earn his spot back. So
is it from your school?
No, I don't even know him. I have no idea where he's from. This is a travel team from all over Connecticut.
It's a new and it's a new coach.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you have a relationship with the coach prior to last season?
Yeah, and he kind of chimed in because he realized that we were very upset. And he's like, well, now we have 4 goalies to choose from, and trying to ease the sting. And it's because he's 14 years old, right? He's 14. You didn't even have a conversation with us to say, we would have been like, okay, cool, let them split time. That's fine. But just, you didn't communicate. There wasn't a conversation, and we were blindsided on this Zoom call. And when I say that everybody should be held accountable and my expectations for humanity are high, if I'm running a business, my expectation would be that I would communicate with you as the parent to say, listen, we're going to add another goalie, and this is going to be great for Jack's development. This is going to be great for Tom, Dick, and Harry's development. And this is the path that we're going to go. You can choose yes, you could choose no, but let's have a conversation about it.
That's atrocious. That's unacceptable.
They just didn't do it.
That's completely unacceptable on the coach's part.
And the owner. And Pete's been emailing him. He's not responding. And I sit here and I'm like, how do you run a business?
He's not responding.
No.
Wow.
Nope. So Pete wrote another email today, and he said, I will have to go to social media.
You got to get Pete mad.
Oh, and
that takes a lot.
For everybody, yeah, exactly. For everybody listening who does not know Pete Higgins, we joke that he barely has a pulse. Like, he is the most even-keeled. Like, you cannot ruffle his feathers. It takes a lot to do so. He's ruffled.
Wow. And as well he should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk more about that. Here's from our sponsor.
Down south, we have Julius Williams, Jordan Harris, and the rest of the team of the Trench Mob. They train offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps all across the country. They have sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. They have sent the highest percentage of kids who work with them to Division I schools on scholarship. To work with the best, go to trenchmobfootball.com. Ned Von Young runs the Fresh Fold Laundry Company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, a high-end laundry service. You book online, put your laundry out in a clear plastic bag. They pick it up, wash, dry, and fold it for you in 48 hours. They also offer an expedited service if you need that as well. They have an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly, where you can get your laundry done that way. They offer deals for college students. So if you want your laundry done, you can do it in your own dorm. They have a pickup and now a delivery service. So you can have your laundry done without leaving the comfort of your own home or dorm room. To sign up, go to their website, my-freshfold.com.
So I wanted to ask, because I know that your family is well off. Your family is not, extremely wealthy.
Hold on, Steve. I can't hear you. Hang on one second.
Your dog. It's okay. It'll be good.
The dogs are going nuts. Hold on. I'm just going to shut the door.
You can shut the door. It's okay. America is shutting the door because her dogs are misbehaving. Not only is she a mother to her children, she is a mother to her dogs.
I apologize for that interruption, everyone, but this is life in the Higgins household.
So I was saying, I mean, you're well off. You're not super wealthy.
Oh God, no. I haven't
$3,000.
hit the lotto yet.
I mean, you've gone between jobs. $3,000 is not. It's not cheap. You're paying $3,000 for this travel team, and I'm sure on top of that, there's fees for the tournaments and everything. And you get on this call. You have no idea about anything new that's happening with the roster. And all of a sudden, the father of the goalie chimes in. So they're carrying They were carrying 5 goalies for, was it 3 teams?
4. Now there's 4 goalies for 3 teams.
There's 4 goalies for 3 teams. Okay. And he's 14 years old. And, he was expected to be the starter.
Actually, hold on. There's 4 goalies for 2 teams. The third team is the lower. I hate to call it lower.
Right, the one that they invented.
So there's 4 goalies for MLS Next and the MLS Next pool, which is what Jack was in.
Like they did for football. They wanted to invent another team. That's wonderful. But that's what's crazy about it is the coach. I mean, the travel industry has gotten so out of control. There's no regulation on it. It's turned into big business. And it's how coaches now recruit. They recruit more off of the travel film than they do off of the high school film. So your son being put in that situation emotionally, because I'm sure he's friends with everyone on the team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that you as parents are friends and travel and know everyone on the team. That is such a difficult, toxic situation. And did you sit down and talk and say, listen, what do you want to do? Do you want to stick it out? Do you want to try to find another team?
He was, like I said, the look on his face when he was like, he was perplexed. He didn't get it. He didn't understand that there was and listen, the other goalie, it's not his fault, and the dad didn't know.
No, I mean, it's so
that's
fault.
not. But it was still a shock to his system. And we said to him, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "I don't want to play. I don't want to do it. If they didn't think that I was good enough, I was there in December playing in the snow, and he did. He played a tournament in December in the snow. He did great. If they can't value the fact that I'm also a swimmer." I'm 14. I'm not choosing the one sport I'm going to play for the rest of my life at 14 years old.
Absolutely. And he shouldn't be. And, social media also plays a huge part in this. I think social media for teenagers and even adults has grown way, way too toxic. People have way too much time on their hands to go on there and tweet this, post that, and just argue with people. There's so much negativity that goes on. There's so much bullying that goes on with it. How are you able to monitor it within your household?
So if I have very strong opinions on devices in general.
Yes.
I said last time I'd love to roll them all over with the tires of my car. I sit in front of a computer all day for work. I hate it. It's not good for my body. It's not good for my mind. It's not good for my eyes. I hate it. But it's what I do for a living, right? I have to. I'm not in the hospital like I was for years. Now I'm still working in healthcare, but behind a screen. It's how I make my living. It's fine. My kids, when they are on computers at school, and then they come home and they have to do their homework on a computer, and then they have their phones. The big boys did not get phones till middle school. They were the last of their friends to get phones. I didn't want to get them phones, but they were going to middle school. They were playing sports. They needed to be able to get a hold of us. And then we had the iPhone has like parental, so much time. They get so much screen time, you shut it down after this hour, you turn it on at this hour. You're able to, they have to get permission to download apps. Like, we had that locked down. So Jack's still pretty much locked down. Owen, he's
Did he
almost,
try to push it? I mean, he's going to be 18, and
he's driving.
Yeah.
You know, I there was a big thing a year and a half ago, where maybe even longer. I feel like COVID made us into this time warp, but all these book banners, right? They were all banned. I want to ban this book because it shows
oh
that
god,
gay people
yes,
look up. And I want to ban this book because it talks about gay people. And I want to ban this book
yeah,
because
I know.
so my argument to that is your kid having the accessibility of taking a book out of the library that probably has 2 inches of dust on it versus the phone that's attached to their hip at all moments, at
Every
any
second.
given time. They could go to Pornhub all they want, and they could see way more than they would ever see in a book that has 2 inches of dust on it. Okay?
That's a fair argument.
It is
That's a very
100%
fair argument.
truth. And these parents that say, you know, it's my job to teach my kid what they should know and not the school and blah blah. Girl, guy, the school's not teaching them. Their phone is teaching them. And
It
if
really
you're not
is.
accountable enough as a parent to know that, and you're that stupid to say, oh, a book on the bookshelf that's been there since 1982 that has a picture of a penis in it is bad versus what they're getting on that cell phone, you do not have a leg to stand on.
So, I mean, you've gone through this during the recent times with soccer. I mean, do you still carry a little bit of a fear of making mistakes
Always.
as a parent, as a mom?
Always. Like,
Because everyone looks to you. You're the leader.
So here's the thing, right? You've known me 26 years.
We lie
that
on
right?
this show.
It's a long time.
You can say 10. Yeah.
It's a long time. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that I have been my authentic self since the day you and I met freshman year of college. I think.
I would agree. Yes.
You could say no. You could say no, Erica. You were, you know. But
No,
I
no.
think I have tried to stay true to who I am. Since
Very much so. Very much so.
now, a lot of people, I have a lot of friends, right? Like I can
Yeah.
talk to a wall
course.
and it could talk back to me. Like, that's just who I am. I'm friendly. I like meeting people. I like telling people the truth. Unfortunately, I think I said this last time, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like this.
No, they don't like to hear the truth. No.
And as a parent, I'm honest. I'm honest to my kids. You know, Owen, I'll never forget. He asked me, he goes, how old were you when you lost your virginity?
Oh, that's a good topic.
And he asked, and I swore I would never lie to my kids. And I told him the truth. And he was like, all right, thanks. And that was that. That was it. That was the conversation. So Pete goes, you just told him the truth. And I said,
Did he ask Pete?
no, he didn't ask Pete. No, they never asked Pete. They always ask me. You know, everything. Reed had a situation a couple weeks ago where one of his friends got kicked in the man parts for 3 days straight. Reed was petrified that his testicles exploded and that he was going to die and that they were twisted and that he needed to wear a cup to school because he was petrified. Like, they don't go to Pete with this. They're like, Mom, how do my testicles, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have them.
Whoa, hold on. Reed was getting kicked in the balls?
No, Reed's friend was.
So
And
Reed was petrified that it was going to happen to him.
Correct. And that his testicles were going to explode. This is my 8-year-old. Yes. But they did not go to Pete. He did not go to Pete. He came to me and asking me how the testicles feel. And I said,
So what do I do?
I don't know.
I don't have them.
I don't have them. But yes. So as hard as some of these conversations can be, my parents, my dad, I think I had much more honest and open relationship with him than my mother. I remember when I got a tattoo when I was 18 and my dad was like, that's really cool. And my mom was like, that's the most unladylike thing. And I was like, see, this is why I tell dad things. This is why I don't tell you things. Whereas I want to make sure that if Owen goes to get a tattoo when he's 18, I'm more like my dad. And I'll be like, okay, you got to live with that. Are you happy with that? That's because I want them to come to me. I want to have those open conversations. Do I think that I make mistakes? 1,000,000%. And if they ever need
nobody's
therapy, they're like I do. I mean, I go once a week.
Yeah.
I did the best I could, right? Like I'm trying, and I tell Owen, and I think I said this in the last one too.
Well, I think you put a lot of pressure on yourself.
100%. 100%.
It's not anything that you do. You put a lot of pressure on yourself because you want to be the best mom that you can be, so your children grow up to be productive, successful adults.
Sometimes
it's the pressure you put on yourself.
Pressure. Yeah, you're right. I do.
No, yeah, but you know what? There's so many moms that don't, and all that does is show that you care and that you want the best for them. You're gonna push yourself, and you're gonna push them to get the most out of them.
And I push them sometimes too hard, Steve, I feel like, and I send them messages, the big boys anyway, because Reed, I don't think he doesn't have a phone.
I don't
and I say, I'm pushing you because I love you. I'm pushing you because I had to push myself back in the day. I'm pushing you because the world is your oyster. I'm pushing you because I love you. And, you know, I'm in countdown mode right now, right? I only have so many days with Owen where he's living here.
Right.
So he comes home and he always gives me a hug. He always says, hey, mama, how are you? He'll always. But now it's like I hug him a little longer. Like, I just got to hold you a little longer because I don't know how much, you know. And he's like, he never pulls away. He never doesn't want to give me a hug. And that to me makes me feel like, yes, there are times where I'm very annoying to him, I'm sure, because that would not be normal if I wasn't. But it makes me feel like that he respects me and loves me enough that he's going to miss those hugs too. He wasn't feeling well the last couple of days. And he's like, Mom, you make me feel better. And I was like, what are you going to do when you go to school? And he's like, well, you've taught me how to take care of myself. He's like, but I'll call you. And I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, he recognizes how much you have done for him. And guess what? The world is not all sunshine and rainbows. It will beat you down. Mm-hmm. And that is something that you mentioned. You know, how do you go about raising strong boys who are also kind to others? That is really a dichotomy that's challenging.
Well, it's a challenge, those two things, but also resiliency is a challenge because parents are so, I'll do it for you. I want to fix all your problems for you. I don't want you to feel pain. I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to go through, you know, anything adversarial. I want to make sure that you're in a bubble and you're good and you're perfect. Yeah. That when they are going into the real world, they're not going to know how to handle big problems.
They don't know how to overcome adversity.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. And like you and I on a personal note, you know, we recently had a friend who wasn't able to handle adversity. And it's sad, right? Like everybody has big problems in their life at some point. And I've had big problems. You've had big problems. We've banded together with people that care for us. We've asked for help when we've needed it. We've crashed. You physically crashed. We've all had different parts of our lives that have been impacted. And resiliency is what helps us get through those things. And we learn each time we crash how to get back up. And I need to know that my boys, they're going to crash. They're going to have bad times in their life. And I need to hopefully have given them the tools to say, this is shitty. This is really bad. It doesn't get any worse than this. How am I going to pull my bootstraps back up and move on and get past this and build my confidence and pay my bills or get out of whatever hole they're going to be in. Because I guarantee you, like you said, life is not daffodils and rainbows, and shit happens. And now we're going to have a generation of soft, inept, incapable, non-resilient kids because mommy and daddy fixed it all.
Because they never had to fight through any type of adversity. And until you've been there and you've had the persistence and the determination to get up, dust yourself off, and keep going, you're not going to know how to respond to it. And that's exactly right. That's what you said. We're going to have a generation of those kids. I will play our last sponsor and we will finish up.
Finally, we have James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. For the last 3 years, James has dedicated himself to the art of financial services. He specializes in life insurance and insurance policies. He will save you money, make you a boatload of money, and do so tax-free. He also specializes in retirement planning because we know the stress that goes into thinking about retirement. How much am I going to need? For how long? Do we have enough? Because fear of the unknown is real. To contact James, go to www.lutherjamesinsurance.com.
All right. And, you were talking about, the first episode that we have and that we had. And, parents are going through this. Parents sometimes feel unsure. They're overwhelmed and they're trying to do their best. And I think that they feel often that they're failing, but they have to understand that the climate and the environment that we're in, not only in school, but in all aspects of life, is beyond our comprehension. If you told us 20 years ago this was going to be how we were living, nobody would believe it.
Right.
So parents are very, very hard on themselves. And I think because of that, they compensate and they end up doing more in babying their kids, which ends up being detrimental because, like you said, Owen's going to be going off to college in August. Parents are going to be sending their kids off to college in August. What percentage do you think are going to want to leave after the first week? What percentage are going to want to leave if they don't like their roommate? What percentage are going to want to leave if they have some type of adversity on campus? But you can feel safe in knowing that you raised your kid the right way and you gave him the tools to handle whatever is thrown at him. And that is what I think makes the biggest difference and what separates you from the majority of other mothers out there.
Well, and I think the thing is too, is I want more people to understand I'm not doing it the right way. I'm not doing it the perfect way. No. Everybody is doing what's right for them. It's just that a lot of times people are not self-reflecting on, am I acting as a parent or am I acting as a friend? And how am I doing my kid a disservice in the long run? There's kids where the parents were doing their school projects. And I'm like, yeah, what is this teaching them? Let them fail the school project in 5th grade versus, a paper their freshman or sophomore year of college. Teach them early on it's okay and how to deal with the failure in 5th grade when it's inconsequential versus in college where you're paying for them to do it. So I don't want people to think that this, podcast is a place for me to tout that I'm, the perfect mother, because I'm not by any stretch.
But you're sharing your struggles. You're sharing your fears. You're sharing your insecurities. You're sharing your experiences of what you're dealing with. And it's a lot to have on your plate, especially, being a working mother. On top of all this, you have a career, you have a job to maintain. You have to be successful at your work. So to do that and still be the mom that you are, I mean, there's a small percentage of parents out there who are capable of doing that, because I think they lose sight and end up doing one or the other. Either their career suffers or their parenting suffers. And you have found a balance for that. But I think when you have a show like Honesty Lost, where people can come and parents can comment and ask questions and talk about their insecurities, talk about things that they may have done wrong, talk about situations that they're going through and dealing with.
Yep.
I mean, especially the soccer situation. I mean, that to me is a major curveball that your kid had to deal with. And for him to think about it and say, you know what, if they got somebody else, they think he's better, fine. I'll move on. He's not losing sleep over it.
He's not. And that also makes me feel good, because I think back at, if I was 14, I probably would have been perseverating on it. I probably would have been like, what's wrong with me? How come? And he's not. He's confident. He knows he's going to be able to play varsity soccer. If not next year, the year after, because he's it for goalie after the senior that's going to be, leaving next year. So he's confident. And I will say, it makes me happy with how he handled it. It was like the initial shock, but it was funny. This morning, I was texting Jack's best friend's mom. She had asked me a question about, we have spring sports night coming up. And she's like, oh, so tonight I'll find the answer to that. And I was like, I think it's on Thursday. And she was like, oh my God. She goes, thanks for getting my head on straight. And I was like, it takes a village. Like, this is how we're supposed to help each other. We all have she has 4 kids. So she has one more than I do. She works, her husband works. Like, we have to be able to lift each other up. And I think in this day and age, especially with social media, you see people tearing people down. Kids are watching their parents tear people down and judge people, and they're thinking it's okay for them to do it too. So I think that this podcast, as it develops and grows, and you and I continue to have fun doing it and coming up with things that are important, I think it is important for people to know that this is a safe place to bring us ideas and topics and things that they want to talk about, because honestly, there isn't really a platform for people to be able to ask real questions. Yeah. I might not have the answers. I might not. You and I might have to do some research.
But you're living it in real time. That's the biggest thing. You're experiencing it in real time.
Yep.
And that can help someone. That can make a difference with someone. But as a parent, I mean, do you trust right now that you're doing enough as a mother?
I do, because I have 3 kids, 2 of which I've put the majority of the work into already, that are, if I needed to get on a plane with Pete and Reed, would they be fine taking care of each other and themselves, and my house wouldn't burn down? I think I'd be pretty confident that they'd be okay. If they were in a situation where it was bad, I think they have the street smarts to know to get the hell out? Yeah. Am I trusting that they're good people and they're not stealing and they're not? Yes. Do I trust that they are doing their work and getting good grades because they're not using AI and they're doing it because they have a brain? Yes. I could go on and on with how I trust that and I can't say just right? This is not an I as an Erica Higgins thing. My husband is my partner, and we do a really good job parenting together. I've had to whip him into shape a bit with some things, because Pete's a little more lenient than I am.
He's lax. He's laid back, but I mean, he's brilliant and he knows what to do and he can crack the whip when he has to.
When he
I'll
has
give
to.
I'll give him that for sure.
Yeah.
You had a question. What have you done to increase, I guess, interpersonal communication with their kids, with your kids? This mother is struggling, because you mentioned devices,
Mhm.
and their children are on the computer, on their phone, and they feel that the development of those interpersonal communication skills, being able to talk to someone, is lacking. And I think I recall you saying that you put a time
Yeah,
limit on how much they
we
can
have
use.
time limits
Yeah,
on their phone.
yeah.
So it goes
Okay.
on at 6
So
a.m.
that's it.
and then it goes off, I think it's 9 p.m. But there's
Right.
breaks that we've set throughout the day. And my thing is,
Right.
there's no phones at the kitchen table. So
Yes,
do not bring
that's
your
huge.
phone to the kitchen table. Do not bring your phone if we're having like family movie night or we're playing family game night. Do not bring your phone if you're having if we are having a conversation, which I like to have conversations with the boys a couple times a day if I can. Some days I don't even see them, right? Depending on what the schedule is. And now Owen is working in between PT and work, and I might not see him for a day. But the interpersonal communication is look me in the eye. Do not, and I had to set an example too. I catch myself telling the kids to get off of their devices
While
and I'm
you're
sitting there playing solitaire on my device. And I am like, holy, I'm doing exactly what I'm not supposed to be doing and what I'm telling my kids not to do. So you have to be self-aware yourself, which is a huge learning curve. And I am still learning it. I am still trying to be cognizant of it to the point where if we're watching TV or if we're doing family game night, I have my phone in the bathroom in my bedroom. So it's not even near me. And if there's an emergency, I have my phone on my watch.
Right.
So like I would see if my mom or somebody were calling me. But I am trying to put guardrails and barriers up so that I am teaching my kids that interpersonal communication is very important.
I'm sorry. She also asked, I'll just give you this. At school, do they let the kids keep their phones or they take them away?
No, they take them. We actually this year, our Board of Ed implemented that they are only allowed, and this is at the high school, to have their phones in between classes or study hall and lunch. So
they can't carry them on them.
They can carry them on their person, but
Okay.
they have pockets in each classroom where they have to put their phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I remember back at parent, orientation night back in the fall, Owen and Jack's health and nutrition teacher, it was the same person, but she taught them separately. She had like a little cart and she's like, nope, the kids come in, they know to put their phones in the cart. And then at the end of class, they can pick up their phone. Because there is a strict policy that if they get caught, they get 2 warnings and then their phone gets taken away. So it has, based on what I have heard, it has had wonderful outcomes and the kids are much more engaged in the school classroom.
All right. She wants to know what ended up happening with the soccer coach. Did you just cut off ties and distance yourself from it?
We're still trying to, like my husband emailed.
You are trying to work something out with them.
Well, we're not trying. We just
want to get your money back.
Yeah, we're just working on getting the money back at this point, and then
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're working on that, and then Jack, our son, he'll work with a goalie coach separate from this club, and he will be happy as. And
there's no way that if the coach talked to him and said, "Hey, I made a mistake" or whatever.
No, it's too far.
Listen,
gone. There was a game last spring. I was not there. It was over Memorial Day weekend where the coach left in the middle of the game to go coach another team. And we didn't have a coach. We pay $3,000 and a parent had to go coach because that coach left in the middle of the game to go coach another coach another game. So yeah, it's been a couple things. And now this was just the topping on the cake.
I have heard it all. I've heard it all. Well, wow. I got to try that. Just leave a game. We're losing. I'm just going to walk off. All right, Erica, great job. Great job.
Yeah.
Great episode. You
Good
knocked
team
it out of the
effort.
park. You got some pretty good comments and
Yeah,
questions.
keep the comments coming. I love it. It's great.
If it was a little bit earlier, we'll ask Erica on next week's episode. But thank you for watching and chiming in. We appreciate all of your support. And Erica, her son is going to Union. The other one is the swimmer, and the one that plays soccer. And that's the Jack that's having the issue there. So as I said, Erica, it's not. I think that you put too much pressure on yourself. I think you're doing a very good job. It is, like you said, there's no owner's manual for parenting in this environment. And you have raised kids who are polite, kind, respectful, and they treat people the right way. They're not bullying people. They're not on social media harassing people. And that goes a long way. And to send a kid to Union College is, as you say, it's remarkable. I mean, it's one of a kind right there. So
Thanks,
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So for my Mama Higgins, Erica Higgins, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, life gives you lemons. Don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at the soccer coach.